When you look at the progression of heavy music over the past 20 years, are there albums that have stood the test of time?
Yeah, Around the Fur by the Deftones.
Is that in 20 years, though?
Yeah, that was like, what, 94?
Yeah, but...
It's 15. In the past 20 years. 16, 17, whatever was it?
The test of time.
Yeah, no, that's an album that like I liked back in the day, and I still listen to now, and I'm like, that's an incredible album. Because most of the albums I listened to when I was, at that age were sort of formative to what I listen now, but like wouldn't stand the test of time. I'd be like, oh, I don't really like that anymore. But that's one album that is just phenomenal still.
I'm gonna go with Metallica Black Album. I think that came out in '91 also.
That's 20
so it's
years.
like 20 years exactly. It sounds great. I think it was ahead of its time production-wise. The riffs are amazing. The songs are amazing. I used to be a Metallica, fanboy. Still kind of am in a way, although I don't really get down with some of the newer stuff as much. But for me, that album is definitely, I can pop it in and still enjoy it now, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, buddy?
I don't know if it's in the past 20 years. It might be before. But Queensrÿche, Operation Mindcrime. That's a really awesome album.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And, I mean, to this day, I think that was their biggest, I don't want to say it's their biggest, but it's definitely one of the things that put them seriously on the map as a band. And I think that, it was like one of the initial, I don't want to say rock opera, but, stories that were told in the form of a theatrical, in a theatrical manner. That I think now you see a lot of songwriters that are writing that way. You have like the Deer Hunter who's writing a story in these colors of albums, you know what I mean? It's really cool. So I don't know, I think that their album itself stands out as one that stood the test of time, but they also influence, I think, in some ways, certain people that are now in the genre doing that kind of thing.
I guess if we're doing that, we can add the first 3 Dream Theater albums.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go.
Meshuggah, None, Destroy, Erase, Improve, which it seems like is finally getting appreciated for the masterpiece it is,
Pantera albums, Dimebag Darrell's the most ridiculous guitar player that ever lived in my mind, so anything he did, no one plays like him now, then, ever, in my mind,
So these albums that you guys have mentioned, like 8 albums that you just mentioned, when you compare that to albums that are coming out now, how do they differ?
It's just like a different period in time as far as production and music goes. It shows you like sort of how people would approach things back in the day, for better or for worse. I think that there's a lot of interesting things that people do nowadays. I think there's a lot of progression, but there's a lot of regression as well. It just depends on what you're listening to, and just completely different approaches because tastes change and whatnot, But then you look at a band like Meshuggah, which is doing in 1995 what people are finally starting to understand now. It's like people are finally starting to get. So there's some stuff that is like truly ahead of its time. That was out there that people just didn't get back then,
Technology has been a big part of things too. These days, recording with computers, anyone can record in their bedroom. We record in a bedroom, I mean, there's a lot of difference. I think a lot of difference has been made by computers as well.
It helps certain kinds of ideas get out because you can like put it down to computer and remember it. You can like sort of like a lot of the ways I write myself is composing. And I think you see a lot more composing going on nowadays, whereas like back in the day, maybe it was a lot more like just jamming in a room with your buddies, So you see a lot more one-man projects or a lot of projects that are based around sort of one central writing figure because you can do it on a computer and you can sort of like orchestrate everything yourself.
You mentioned that heavy music, in a sense, has also regressed. In which ways has it regressed?
I mean, this is all subjective, of course, but it's like, I mean, that could be in very sort of specific terms. Like, I'm not even saying like it's a bad thing, but it could have been just stripped down. Like some aspects of it are stripped down. But I think the fact that that you can have bands that, like now, if you listen to a recording, you don't necessarily know if the band's any good because you have things like quantizing, all recordings are edited, drum replace, and all sorts of things where you're hearing music as a composition, and that is cool in certain ways, but in other ways that you end up with some bands that like have really cool sounding albums and they can't pull it off live. Whereas I feel like back in the day you had to be awesome, or else you wouldn't be any good in the studio. So that's what I'm saying. It's like subjective. Like you could take it in take it as a form of progression or as a form of regression, depending on the band and the circumstance, of course.
What about for Periphery itself? Is there a code of ethics, things that you will not do that crosses the line with technology?
No, I mean, like, it's really just whatever sounds good. That's our rule. It's like when we're making music and when we're making albums, we're trying to get ideas across. If you want to see us play live, you come to a live show, and hopefully you'll be satisfied. You know, because that's a completely different vibe. That's where you get to see the vibe and the energy and all that. But we do approach our albums and our songs as compositions, as like a pure form of creation where you can get like any idea out, and I don't think that there's any sort of limit to what you can or should do to get that across.
Yeah, I think if you can be creative with what's available, then use everything, you know, and if it works, then that's even better.
If it sounds better, if you're more happy with what you're putting out to the public, you know, I think that's the best way to go.
And that's why our general rule is always just, if it sounds good, that's pretty much it. Doesn't matter if it's simple, complicated, doing crazy stuff to make it happen, or really simple stuff to make it happen. That doesn't matter. It's the end result that really matters.
And being really scrutinizing too the sound that we get, you know, like the things that we try out, we really have to scrutinize. Like the first album, I think we re-recorded a bunch of times, because Misha kept working on getting better tones, better mixes, and it's like, I've better mixed. We got to, we have to redo this. We have to.
Once you hear it, it's like,
we recorded
dang,
it
now
at
we
the
gotta
last
do
minute
it.
because it was like we can make it better, you know. It's like and
Which was not cool at all.
It sucked. It really sucked, but it was worth it. It was way worth it, you know. The second version of the album came out way better. No one's heard the first version, thank God. But like,
Did we burn that computer yet? Or we're gonna take it out into a cornfield and stomp it.
Office Space style,
Exactly.
with our GPS.
With the GPS.
With the GPS.
Rock and roll.
We won't name the brand of our GPS because we don't want to piss anyone off.
But it is called the Murphy.
It's a Murphy.
It's called the Murphy. That's all we'll say.
You stole it from me, you bastard.
I'm sorry, you son of a bitch.
Wow.
Well, I know you guys have the... Damn, that does look good.
Yeah.
Smells good too.
I'm gonna just eat this as we talk.
Do it, man.
Advertising.
I know you guys got the EP coming out in April. And it's my understanding that you're already writing for the second album, correct?
Yep.
What's the writing process like?
I think it's going to differ from the first record. Beforehand, it has been songs. This guy's been writing and recording songs in his bedroom since I met him back in like 2004. So a lot of what the first record is pretty much Misha's ideas, and then everyone kind of coming together, putting some vocals on top of it. We got a new singer right before we recorded the album, or the vocals for the album and all that. So I think the second record, now that we are a full-time band, now that we all are involved and don't have to work, a job to, make do, that we can all contribute a bit more. Of course, Misha's going to be the one producing it and controlling it, quality controlling it and all that stuff. But I think it's going to be a bit more mature, just because we've been a band.
It's just a collaborative thing. I didn't want to necessarily write all the songs on the first album, but it was like, that's the way it worked out. And once again, the rule was just like, whatever sounds best. Literally, if our singer Spence wrote an entire album and we're like, that's the greatest thing ever, that would be our album. It's not anything about it has to be any one person or any group of people or whatever. But I think that if we do put all our heads together, we could get something pretty awesome going, and I think it will really take it to the next level.
Let's hope so.
So I have this pretty ambitious idea for the second album, to do part concept album, part regular album, do a double album release essentially. So we need a lot of time off, and I'm trying to get it so that we can sort of jam on these ideas and
But these cool tour offers keep coming in, and we're like,
it keeps running.
I want to do that tour, and it's like, well, when are we gonna write? When are we gonna record and stuff like that? We just
a wonderful dichotomy of being in a touring band.
Yep.
When you produce yourself, especially.
You can't get too much work done on the road. I mean, if you had a tour bus, you hear bands writing in the back lounge of the tour bus and stuff like that, but a tour bus costs a lot of money, to where we try and save money. We'd rather have hotel rooms than a tour bus right now, because a hotel room doesn't move, has a working shower and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, we basically need the time
hours
off. We need the time off, and once we have time, we're gonna take our time with it. Part of it would be just kind of regular songs, and one would be a super thematic, musically and lyrically thematic concept album. And we're tossing around some ideas we're storyboarding some ideas right now, because we have a cool concept in mind.
We should do a real storyboard, on a TV show where they have it all drawn out and stuff like that.
Yes, we should. We should do all this extra work for nothing. But yeah.
Are there particular objectives with this sophomore effort?
It has to destroy the first one. The freshman. We're not a freshman anymore. We have
Just want to
to.
be proud of it, man.
Hopefully, we make varsity from
this way.
our sophomore year.
We're really sick of the first album. Not because we don't like it or anything. We've just listened to it and worked on it and everything so much. We're gonna make something that gets us really excited again.
Here's a fun fact for this interview.
Yeah.
Today marks the 5-year anniversary of Periphery playing live shows. This was a time when we couldn't find a drummer. Misha was on drums. I was playing guitar. We had another guitar player. Tom was actually on bass, and another singer. To where that night we played 2 songs that we're playing on stage tonight.
Yeah.
That means
should
I've been
give you an
playing these
idea.
songs live for 5 years. I'm really excited.
To get some new stuff out.
I mean,
you
the
know?
songs have changed. There's been differences that have happened,
Yeah.
but for the most part,
But still, it just kind of gives you a sense of like why we're ready to move ahead. Like I am proud of the first album, but I want to be even prouder of this next one.
Right.
And I think that's why we're ready to take such an epic like undertaking. Like sonically, the only things that I'm kind of planning personally, but it may completely change because of course everybody else is gonna be involved, is that I want the concept album to be like just dark grooves, like just like groovy. Like there's no
Dark
other way.
groove.
I don't think I could say dark and groovy anymore.
right now.
Darker than me and groovier than me. And then the other one will be more song oriented and more playful. That's about it, really.
Playful. Right on.
Think of it like the good
Like
side and the bad side. Evil and whatever.
Playful.
Yeah.
Evil
playful.
and whatever. How about happy and whatever?
It's not really happy because there's some sad little riffs that we got.
Yep.
No, you should be
Tearjerkers.
happy. You should be happy.
Yeah.
I'm figuring this out right now, just so you know.
That's cool. If today marks the 5-year anniversary of you guys playing live, when you look back on the 5 years, are there particular highlights, moments that just stand out completely?
Yeah, big time.
When
The
I
album
started the
release.
band.
When Matt joined, I've known Matt for like 10 years. So him joining was really cool because we used to be friends like back in the day. So to have him come on,
Breaking the
was
floor
awesome.
the other day at a house party.
we broke the floor at a house party in Houston about a week ago. That was pretty cool. I mean, I guess it's not cool because like these guys were nice enough to have us play at their house.
Yeah.
But they were asking for it. They knew hundreds of kids were coming in, and the floor just collapsed. That was kind of gnarly.
Yeah, we collapsed in the living room.
Opening for Dillinger Escape Plan in Australia. That was
Touring
definitely-
Australia?
Touring Australia.
How about this? Going to London. Ooh, I got a good one. I mean, you shared this one. Going to London, selling out 500 capacity venue, and the kids were crazy that night. Jumping and stage diving into the crowd to perform the end of our set.
It was
That
our
was
first
cool.
time. First time.
That was
And we
pretty
did it
neat.
together. It's on YouTube.
Yep.
It
It's
is.
documented on
Damn.
YouTube.
What
Yeah.
about for you?
I'd say honestly, it was really a great feeling to go through a slew of sold out shows in Europe and through the United Kingdom, man. It was like,
Yeah.
it was ridiculous. People walking up to me that I've never been in this country before, ever. And I have dudes and fans that are just screaming my name and walking up to me and like asking me to take pictures, and I'm just like, dude, how do you know me? Like, what's wrong with you? I'm nobody special, it's crazy. Like, it was an amazing experience, having fans screaming our songs at us and going to a place we've never been before and having such a great response.
A warm welcome.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Definitely
just
one of the
such a
best experiences
Yeah.
in my life.
Yep.
No doubt.
that did it for me.
With the consistent touring that you're doing, with all the tour offers that are coming in and the new record that you're just laying out tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, figuring it out.
How do you have time for Haunted Shores?
Oh man. Yeah. Mark's been asking. I just whacked myself in the face. Mark's been asking that.
Nice.
On camera.
I can't wait to watch this video now.
I know, right? We're gonna rewind and we're gonna
At
do it like
5:08. You think? No, it's probably more like
there'll be a comment.
6:38 right now.
And on YouTube you can
Yes,
actually
it's on.
click and then you can probably replay. And they have numbers now where you can just hit like 3, 4, 5.
Really?
Probably replay like. Anyways, not to sidetrack, but I don't, man. It's like, I mean, I do because I'm gonna make time for it, but it's just that's what I'm gonna spend my free time on. Is side projects because I do want to finish that up. And
Girly Whirly
Mark's
and
been
Haunted Shores.
what
Girly Whirly.
Girly Whirly
Yeah,
and
there
Haunted
you go.
Shores.
There you
That's
go,
what I got
yeah.
time for, and like supposedly producing other bands when I have time for it. Yeah, my life at home kind of sucks because I just never get time to myself anymore. But it's good. I mean, like I like being creative, so that'll be out eventually.
Well, where's it at right now? Because I know you have Jesse Leach and like a ton of vocalists.
Well, we got people who are interested and who say they're interested, but it's a very big difference between saying people are interested and actually sending in stuff that like we're gonna use. So it's kind of an audition process. I'd say we have 3 more songs to write, and we still have to sort of flesh out vocals on a few more songs. Say like probably we're at like 50% completion right now. Like, and we're gonna take our time with it because there's no rush, and we want it to be done right. But I'm really happy with everything that has been done so far. I think it's gonna be really exciting when it comes out because there's a lot of variety, especially with all different singers.
How many minutes are we at?
16. Yeah,
I was way off with that 6:38.
You're
Jeez Louise! See, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it passes by quickly because time cannot fly.
There's no such thing as
I can
time.
fly.
Yeah.
Looking to the future through 2011, what's in store? Obviously, writing for the new album and touring.
We need to do. The writing is definitely going to be there. Doing the album is definitely going to be there to write it and record it. But one thing that we really want to do is in England, or in Europe in general, we did the LXD tour, which was like Tesseract and Monuments and the Safety Fire were the bands that we toured over there. We want to do that tour. It's the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and we want to bring, I guess, those bands if possible, over here and maybe to Australia, and we want to take that tour and try and take it around to other places.
Around the world.
And beyond. I want to go to the moon. I want to be the first guy to play
first gig on the moon.
That's my idea. I don't know if it's going to happen. Moon 2015.
Paul Richard Branson.